Tier 1, Chapter 21. This chapter contains one of my favorite moments in the whole book. Enjoy.
Chapter 21. The ceremony is tonight. I have spent all day with the boys, making sure to have enough FaceTime together so they won't be upset when I have to leave before dinner. They are playing happily now, and Stephen should be here in about a half an hour. Just enough time to get dressed and make sure I present myself well. I fuss with my hair for a few minutes, becoming frustrated when I can't get it to sit right. Why am I stressing? I have my introductions downloaded, and I am good at public speaking. I take a few deep breaths to calm my nerves. I probably should have showered, I think. My hair is flat. My eyes stare back at me from the mirror, and for a moment I see a scared, pleading little girl. I am acting as if I have something to prove, that somehow looking beautiful will solve all of this. My heart drops, and I brace myself, hands firmly planted on the countertop. I haven't gone out with Eric in months. We had previously been too busy to plan anything, nor did I understand that it was time-sensitive. Now, I haven't had any attention or felt loved by anyone in weeks. Well, anyone over the age of 10, that is. This thought crushes me. My body aches to be held, to be wanted. I wipe away an errant tear that has trickled down along my cheekbone. I force myself to breathe deeply and look at myself squarely in the mirror. The face I see is hollow, a shell of a person right now. That won't be fixed in the time I have left. Eric isn't going to be there tonight, so it really doesn't matter how I look. Then the thought crosses my mind that Eric might not be the only one I'm trying to impress. I quickly finish up and exit the washroom. This will be fine, and I am being ridiculous. I walk into the kitchen to grab a snack. A boiled egg and blueberries will have to do. Berg will serve an actual dinner at the ceremony, so it doesn't have to hold me for long. My sensor dings just as the soft white hits my teeth. I attempt to chew and swallow, but boiled egg is not the easiest thing to get down quickly. Downing some water, I head to the door to let Stephen and Liz in. Hi, sorry, I was eating and it took me a minute to get to the door. I wipe my finger across my lips just to make sure I don't have any pieces of egg stuck there. Wow, Kate, you look beautiful, Liz says, admiring my dress. I really like having another girl around. The compliment makes me blush, again confirming how desperate I am for someone to notice me. My stomach turns. I am not someone who struggles with confidence, and I know who I am. At least, I thought I did. Maybe I only know who I am with Eric. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate it. I am feeling oddly anxious about tonight.
I've heard you speak before, Stephen says. You'll do great.
Stephen's hair has gotten long enough that he's able to pull it up in a small bun at the top of his head. It suits him. I give it 2 weeks before Tal decides he needs to start growing his hair out. I usher them in, and the boys peek their heads out of their room to say their hellos. Looks like I won't need to pry them off me tonight. They seem pretty happy to keep playing. I laugh.
Perfect, Stephen smiles. Get out of here before they remember you're leaving.
Sounds good. I'll sneak out. I shouldn't be too late, but I'll message you if something changes. I head to the car and hear a pitter-patter of feet behind me. I turn around to see Bentley running down the hall. He collides with my legs and squeezes tight. I love you, Mom, he says, running back to play. The contact was so brief, and yet it filled my soul to the brim. I blink back tears, not even worrying about his slipping pants, and walk out the back door. The Capitol building looks especially regal tonight. Its broad columns lit up, dropping dramatic shadows along the veranda. A true relic of past civilization. I step out of the car and walk up the steps, making my way to the ballroom entrance. My arms wrap protectively around each other, somehow trying to disguise the fact that I am entering alone. As soon as I walk through the main foyer doors, I see Nick. My breath catches, taking in his tan skin against his gray suit. He looks incredible. I have never seen him in anything but a button-up shirt and jeans. As he walks over to me, I suddenly feel awkward, not knowing whether to shake his hand or give him a hug. In typical fashion, I decide on nothing. Well, you certainly clean up nice, I say. He smiles, and his eyes shine, reflecting the lights overhead. I could say the same about you. Come on, I'll show you where we are sitting. He gently places his hand on the small of my back, causing instant heat. At first, I walk a little faster instead of settling into it, but as we enter the ballroom, I stop. It's breathtaking. It reminds me of old videos I have seen of award programs honoring celebrated public figures. Being so frugal with our resources now, events like this are extremely uncommon. I suddenly feel foolish for not attending the ceremony in the past, and my heart hurts because now I am experiencing it without Eric. Nick points me toward a table in the middle of the room where I find my tag and take a seat. Having looked over the schedule earlier this week, I generally know what to expect. Some of the initiates will be seated at our table, which will allow us to put them at ease. Hopefully, focusing on them will have the same effect on me. Dinner will be served, and then the ceremony will begin. Grace will be introducing Tier 1, and after she finishes, Nick and I will do our portion. Last week, while Eric was gone, I distracted myself by putting together some photos to display during our presentation. Should be a nice touch. Feeling a tap on my shoulder, I turn around and freeze, trying to process the person in front of me. It's Eric. I jump out of my seat, almost knocking it over, and embrace him. He kisses me. Not softly. His hands grip my back, and heat rises through my body, leaving me breathless. I pull away and search his eyes. There is an intensity there that makes me want to ditch this dinner and walk out with him right now. Nick clears his throat. Eric, I thought you were down at headquarters, he says, looking awkwardly at his hands. I wasn't supposed to get back for a few days, but I just couldn't miss this. I know Kate has worked so hard on it. I will have to fly back down tomorrow. Knowing he only has one night makes me want to escape even more desperately. I know I can't, but it can't hurt to imagine it for a minute. Nick's voice brings me back to reality. Since we weren't expecting you, I don't think we have a seat available. I know. I talked with Grace just a few minutes ago. I will need to sit over there. Eric motions to a table in the back corner. You both have work to do, and I don't want to be a distraction. Just wanted to come say hi before it started. You should say hi like that more often, I whisper. He smiles, and I feel his hand move slightly below my waist. More later, he whispers, moving a stray strand of hair behind my ear. To the group, he says, Can't wait to see the introductions. See you both after the ceremony. I release his hand slowly and watch him walk toward his table. All of my fears melt away in his path. That felt like Eric and me. The real version of us. I sit down, almost giddy. My hands are restless, so I reach into my purse and pull out some lip balm. As I'm applying it, I look at Nick, who is staring at me with a grin on his face. What? I ask, grinning back. What was that? He asks with raised eyebrows. That? That was me not seeing my pair for a month, I grin sheepishly. Are you guys doing okay? He asks more gently. I can't figure out how to give an appropriate answer. I don't know that I want to talk about it with Nick, but it feels wrong not to give him some information when we've been spending so much time together. I mean, yes, that felt okay, I laugh, trying to avoid a serious answer. I'm guessing it did, he chuckles uncomfortably. No, honestly, I don't know. Eric has been so absorbed with his work, and we haven't really talked in weeks. I don't know how things are going to work out or what is going to happen in the future. I really don't. I have been whipped back and forth this last month. One day we were normal, the next completely backward. The catalyst was obviously Eric's discovery, but the excuse of intense stress still doesn't sit right with me. There has to be some other explanation. I didn't expect any of this. I had life all mapped out, and now, I don't know. The worries gain traction, my chest constricting, and a little bit of giddiness seeps out of me. I cling to that kiss. Nick doesn't get a chance to respond as we see a couple of people making their way toward us. One of them is Cassidy. I wave to her, and she smiles nervously. When she is close, I rise from my seat and embrace her warmly. I have missed you. I need to hear all about how the last month has gone, I say. It's been crazy, but so good, she grins. Are you at our table? I haven't had a chance to check the name tags. I start glancing around at the cards. Nick finds it across from us and motions for her to sit. I'm so glad we will get to catch up, I say, lowering myself back into my seat. Cassidy hangs her handbag on the back of the chair and sits down. Fill me in before our table fills up, I say conspiratorially, leaning toward her. There's not much to tell, really. I packed up my approved items, spent as much time with my mom as possible, and then moved into my new place, she says, positively glowing. Do they have you on your new programs? Diet, exercise, conditioning? They usually start with diet first, then move on one by one over time, Nick pipes in. Yep, that's how it's been for me so far, Cassidy agrees. Are you liking it? I ask. It must be so strange to suddenly move to a more restrictive setting. It's really more freedom in the long run, but I wonder how it feels to someone coming in cold. I am. It's actually so much easier. I love having things spelled out for me. I have obviously been eating really deliberately for the last few years as I have been trying to heal, but I structured most of that myself. I had to make the menus, and I had to work with the foods that were available to me. Now I just go and pick up my food for the week, and I know exactly when and what to eat. Maybe some people would feel restricted, but I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. They are still doing some testing to find my ideal macro and micronutrient values, but I think we are in the right range. I feel great. I think that's the whole point, I say. The goal of Tier 1 is to provide needed resources to help people function at their best, which leaves more brain space and energy for innovation, creativity, efficiency, and social responsibility. I am sure Grace will talk more about that tonight, I smile. I love it so far, Cassidy says. Servers are setting salads at our table now. 2 more people are behind our table waiting for the food to be placed so they can sit. Nick recognizes them and helps them find their seats. From here on out, it will be small talk. I am grateful and slightly disappointed at the same time. Hey, Cassidy, can we get together at some point in the next week or so? I really would love to learn more about Tier 2, and I felt like you would be the perfect person to ask, if that's okay. Absolutely. I have some things I wanted to ask you about too. Let's do it, she says, as she reaches for her water. Nick hasn't said much since Cassidy arrived. I put my fork to my lips, observing, and allow the others to take care of the introductions. Glancing back at Eric's table, I catch his eye, and we exchange smiles. In that moment, I sense Nick looking my direction. Lowering my head, I continue picking at the lettuce on my plate, pretending I am none the wiser.